Shut up and sit down.
Hey everybody, Barry here again. Hey everybody, Barry here again. We got some actual progress done in the last video. It's great. I was worried about the radiator. I've been worried about that for months. Trying to figure out where to put it, what to do with it, what kind of fans I was going to use. And in case you hadn't seen it yet, this is the setup. It's pretty tight, but I did get my intercooler fit. The radiator here is out of my Bosch Craig's old parts Jeep. I'll be using a clutch fan, which is a terrible idea. I don't recommend anybody use one of those. And I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with this here because it is super tight. I need sort of a 45 or something in a boot right there, but they're wicked hard to get. And there's a Vibrant one on Keystone for like 125 bucks Canadian, which is ridiculous. And I really want to spend $125 on a boot. Not into it. So what I'm going to do today is remount my turbos. That is the plan. I had them right here facing at each other, and I need to now find somewhere to put them. I have no idea where. I'm thinking about going sort of sideways, both turbos right here somewhere, and then go down, or both turbos sort of over here so that my exhaust can go on down there under the cab, out behind the cab. So that's the plan. And I'm not going to be able to take off the driver's side header to weld it, cut it, all that stuff. It's going to be very difficult. Because in order to do that, my power steering, the whole front power steering and alternator bracket has to come off in order to get those headers off, or that header. And that means everything here has to come out, and I'm not going at it. So what I'm going to do is stuff a bunch of rags down here. I got to, of course, unwrap this section here. It only goes down to like right there somewhere. I'm going to stuff a bunch of rags down here with a magnet, cut the pipe off, and then I will have to weld the pieces in as I go. I really don't like the idea of it. I absolutely hate it, to be honest with you. But it's too much for me to do that. So it's going to have to be a little bit sketchy, but I will take my absolute time with it, stuff as many rags as I can in there, put magnets in there so that the metal doesn't get down into the engine, and then I'll stuff a shop vac or something down there after to completely vacuum it out. I might not get everything, but if I can get 99% and one little piece of metal passes by the turbo, I'm fine with that. The passenger side header is going to be easy because, of course, I already have it off. I've just got to kind of chop it off behind the gate there, move it around wherever I need to put it, and then I can tack, take it off, weld it right there. So I think I'm going to do the passenger side turbo first because that one's going to be closest to the fender. I'll know then how much room I have to go back, and I might have to kind of take the hood off, put it on a couple of times just to get an idea of where the height is, because Cass doesn't want me to cut holes in the hood of this truck, and well, what can you do? I don't want to cut holes in the hood of it either, but I would love to see two turbos sort of sticking out right there. But let's get at it. I just set up a couple of batteries here. I measured the height of the hood with this piece of bar here, put it across the hood and measured, and it's about 7.5 inches, and that's what these batteries are. So I can see how much room. I have a pile of room. The turbos could basically come to right here. Look how much that is. I got a foot. I think I'll have absolutely zero issues mounting the turbos. Yeah. I like it. I think it's ridiculous. And it's got to come down a little bit. I want them to be level. But it's starting to look, it's something. And of course, both cold sides will be pointing down. And it'll be very easy to wire it from here and here right into one, right down to right there. Like, so easy. Nothing to it at all. And my hot sides wouldn't be difficult because right up out of this manifold, 90 into the bottom of the turbo. Wastegate could go wherever I want it to. Right here, cut it off here, 90, right into the bottom of there. Also room for a wastegate. And the cool thing is my blow-off valve won't be affected down here. And hopefully I'll be able to get away from this piping and come up this way and across. I like it. I think it's going to look kind of cool. I'll try to get them as close as I can, but I'm going to be limited with space, but that's it. It's part of it. And both my exhausts can come out there, right down there, away from my battery, of course. Man, I think I might have it. I'm going to go ahead and do the passenger side. I'll mount that one up solid first, make sure the hood doesn't touch it and stuff. Of course, I'll tack everything together, so I'm not going to finish welding and have to start right over. And then I'll do the driver's side. That way I've got one solidly mounted, done, and I can base my second turbo's location off the first one. So I think it's going to be okay. I'm hoping to have this done before the end of this video. One turbo is sort of mocked up mounted. And I'm going to try the hood on now just to make sure it's going to fit. Not going to strike anywhere. I didn't really account for filters on the turbos, but whatever. I never run filters anyway most of the time. But I think it's going to look kind of cool. I got room for wastegates, like say right here, and I could probably dump it in that same location. I'll just cut the inner fender out. Or I could put the wastegate back here somewhere, toward the front maybe, probably not, but tails. Lots of room right here for the exhaust to go down. And the other turbo is going to sit hopefully right here. Well, that looks kind of cool. I'm going to go put the hood on before the tacks break and it falls down and I need to buy another turbo or use my spare turbo. But let's try it. It's a good thing this hood is light. So, let's see if it strikes. If it does, I'll do some stuff, but it's on. Does it hit? I don't know if we can see up through here or not. Doesn't seem like it. Well, I can see the turbo, but not what kind of space it has. So I might have to trim it down a little bit. In the video, it looks really, really close. And right here, we can, pretty sure it hits. Like this can flex. That does not. I wonder if I can see it down through here. Tried some really hard angles there. I got the hood taken off now. I'm gonna cut it down 1 inch. It's not gonna be extremely difficult because I already have all my angles and everything done here. That's tacked on to the manifold there. So I'll just break this tack and that tack, which won't be hard, and then cut 1 inch off the pipe, lay it right down in, and then level this up again. Not too serious. Turbo number 1 is mounted, welded up. I just need to pull it all off again, paint it, wrap it again. My wrap is rotten, but I was thinking about using some coating on it anyway. I just have this turbo bolted on here now so I can mock up the second turbo. I don't think I'm gonna bring it right out flush like this. I think I might stagger it and bring it back so that I can have my other cold side right here sort of going behind it and coming this way or something like that. I will figure it out when I get there, but either way, that one is gonna go kind of like that, and the other one will sneak in behind here or something. I think it's gonna look kind of cool. So I took 1 inch off, drove it right down farther than it was, and now we can see that we should have lots of room. The hood line is right there, that black line where it meets the red. So I should have at least 1 inch there right now. But that looks pretty cool though. And with the other turbo right here, I think it's gonna look really cool. So I'm going to cut off this right next to the alternator here. It's gonna suck. I'm gonna cut it off right behind the wastegate right there. And then it'll come up and then go across into the next turbo. It's gonna be pretty freaky. Oh no! I cut my rag in half. Well, that'll make sure that there's no metal left in there anyway. And I'll also be vacuuming all this stuff out. There's a little bit of metal on the rag there, but it actually doesn't look too bad at all. Combustion will take care of the rest. I'm really starting to get somewhere with it. It looks a little bit freaky because I got different size pipes, but this is how these things work sometimes. It's all gonna be wrapped, it's all gonna be welded. It's just gonna be just fine. Look how bad the headers looked before and how okay they look now. So everything is leveled up where it needs to be. One turbo is a little bit lower than the other one, I think. But maybe that's just because the cowl goes up like this, but whatever. I'm not really that concerned. But man, it looks cool though. I'm probably gonna go and level these two up just to be sure, because I don't want one to be lower than the other, but I'll figure that out. But I can go ahead and tack it together now. I'm gonna tack all of these here, but I won't tack it down here. That way I can just tack. Take this whole piece out, throw it on a bench, weld it up, and lay it back on here, then square it up where it needs to be, then I can fully weld that one. And that'll be the only actual full weld I'll need to do on the truck itself, because I don't really like that as such. But, you know, I'll do what I can with it. It's not very easy to get at, so that's just part of it, I guess. But I have 2 turbos again. It's gonna be really easy to take my 2 exhausts and go right down there. I'm really excited about this, actually. I got the hood laid on again. I love this hood. It's my favorite one that I've had on it so far. And I think it's gonna work just fine. Look at those peeking up there. That is so cool. And now, it's just a rusty old truck. Nothing to see here. Nothing to be afraid of. I love it. All I need to do now is pull off the pipes that I have put on there, of course. Put them on the bench, weld them fully, and then very carefully, very slowly weld the pipe onto the manifold. Man, I'm welding around engines, whatever. Welding around the PCM, there's no battery or anything hooked up. There's nothing hooked up to the engine, so I'm not gonna fry the PCM. But there's always that chance of catching something on fire. I really don't like that chance. So I'm gonna put down as much stuff for cardboard or whatever, and I'll probably end up putting some water on my heat wrap. I've caught stuff on fire before. It's not a good time. It always scares the life out of me. So I'm gonna go pull that off and then pull the pipes off and then weld it up. If I can get these 2 turbos mounted tonight, and by the end of this video have them mounted, and I'm gonna make up a couple braces at some point. Maybe today, maybe not, whatever. But I'm gonna brace them to the cylinder heads so that the turbos aren't doing this, because I got like 2 feet of pipe now that's horizontal. So that turbo's gonna have a whole lot of leverage on the manifold. And I don't want it to crack. At some point, I do have to weld in wastegates also. And those are these. I just gotta cut off the flanges, do the same thing, cut the hole in it, weld them on. Not a big deal. Look how nice those welds came out for a flux core. I'm actually happy with that. Except for right there, it's kind of ugly, but whatever. It ain't pretty, but it'll work. I hope. Definitely ain't pretty, but it's cool. It's so cool. I got lots of room for wastegates, like back here, and obviously right there. There's lots of room for wastegates. You can see that this turbo here is tilted down a little tiny bit. I'm gonna tilt it back up to match that one, which is 0 degrees. And then I can go down here and weld. I don't think it's gonna be quite as bad as I thought it was. I don't know. I'll see. Still a bit eerie about it, or wary about it, or whatever. But yeah, it's coming along. So I'm gonna go level it up and weld it, and be very cautious. It's part of it, I guess. I gotta have these nerve-wracking times. I'm gonna go welding and we'll check in a second. Dude, how cool is that? I bolted on the exhaust, the bullhorns that I had, you know, off here. And that is mint. That's hilarious. It could be better, you know, they could be both on the same angle and stuff, but for basically no work and just to bolt them on, that actually looks hilarious. I love it. And I have nothing suspending the turbos now, only the pipe and their weight. So I'm just gonna make a bracket to go from right here down to the cylinder head. And then the same thing from this turbo down to the cylinder head. And maybe I'll do a tab to bolt them together so they don't separate like that, you know. Just something to sort of triangulate it so that they don't wiggle around and break my headers that I made, because that'd be no fun. I'm just gonna pull off these tailpipes, or dump pipes, or whatever you want to call them, and see how well the hood fits, which I agree, really should have done earlier, but whatever. I know the hood will bolt on, but I kind of want to try the other hood, the one with the big opening in front. I'm just gonna stuff this stuff down there, just to see. Ooh, I think we'll be able to see at least one of the turbos. That is cool. This one is actually heavier than the other one. Fit. Why don't it fit? What? Oh. I never cut the braces off the hood. Well, I guess we can't try it. But the turbos would be visible. Let's check it out. That looks super cool. Of course, it's going to be down this much. So that means that much. And it'll be, you know, just in under the turbos. But it would look super cool though. And the radiator would get some extra cooling. I love it. What a wicked setup. Well, let's put on the actual hood. Yeah. If something doesn't fit, you just kind of go. Wow. Much on that. When something doesn't fit well, you just kind of gotta smash it in place. Whatever. It fits! No, it fits. And now it's, again, just a rusty old truck. There's no turbos on this. It just has a really big exhaust. I gotta adjust my pins again. So that's all I'm gonna be doing tonight. I've got a lot more tidy up stuff to do. I didn't really backtrack that much. Like, yeah, I've got 5 hours in today that I already had done, like my headers, turbos, mounted, all that stuff. But in doing this, it allowed me to mount the radiator, which is done. The hoses are done. All I need to do now is hook up the coolant ports on the turbos. Maybe not. If I don't hook them up, who knows if they'll be okay. If not, I'll check and maybe I'll message maxpeedingrods and see if they think it's a bad idea to not have the coolant hooked up to them, because it's gonna be fairly tight. But I'll cross that when I get to it. Maybe I'll JB weld in some NPT fittings, because the metric ones are really expensive. But anyway, so I'm gonna finish it up here tonight. We'll start up on the next video, maybe with some tailpipe exhaust. Maybe I'll mount the battery, something like that. It all got to be checked off the list. Doesn't matter what order it goes in. Maybe it does matter because I just had to redo a bunch of stuff, but anyway. So thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks to all the new subscribers and my YouTube members and patrons. If you want to check out my Patreon, it's patreon.com/stationroadratrods. The YouTube members link is down here. And also check out my Teespring store for shirts and hoodies and all that fun stuff. And thanks for watching. Have a great day, everybody.